This is Basic Electronics Engineering. The paper code is EC201. It has 3 number of lectures. Total contact hour is 36 and the total credit is 3. Myself, Dr. Indranath Shakar, Associate Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at JS College of Engineering, Kolleri. Welcome to Module 2 of PN junction diode and its applications. There are 4 course outcomes of this subject. The first course outcome is to study the PN junction diode, ideal diode, diode models and its circuit analysis, applications of diodes and special diodes. Basically, our focus is to develop the growth of the students' knowledge on the uh, foundation construction of the PN junction diode, as well as the different doping concentrations of the diode and the corresponding applications of the diode. So starting from the different model analysis of the diode for application in various types of circuits, we will carry out several mathematical examples which will give immense of knowledge to the students, so that students can play with diode, students can perform projects, create models using the diodes. The second course outcome deals with operational amplifier. Here our main focus is to develop the students' knowledge with the basic internal stages of the op-amp, so that students can freely demonstrate about the working principle of operational amplifier, starting from the basic amplifiers using op-amps such as the inverting and non-inverting amplifiers. Students will be able to create several types of circuits such as the differentiator, integrator, as well as buffer amplifier, instrumentation amplifier, so precision diode. There are various applications of operational amplifiers, and students can just play with op-amp, so that they can create several types of projects using op-amp. And thereafter our attention will be towards the positive and negative feedback circuit. Here the students will go through the knowledge of the basic amplifier, and thereafter they will apply the feedback concept to the basic amplifier, so that they can enhance the parameters such as the input impedance, output impedance, bandwidth, gain of basic amplifier to some modified value. So feedback amplifier is another part of the control system which can give the idea of control system subject. The fourth one is dealing with the development and capability to analyze and design the simple circuit containing nonlinear elements such as the transistors, using the concept of load lines, operating points and incremental analysis. In this subject there are 5 modules. Module 1 is the basics of semiconductor, module 2 is the PN junction diode and its applications, module 3 deals with the bipolar junction transistor, and module 4 deals with the field effect transistor. Module 5 is the feedback and operational amplifier. Module 6 is the cathode ray oscilloscope. Now here the chronological arrangement of the subject module will be beneficial for the student to grow the knowledge from basic foundation elements to complex circuitry using the basic electronics subject. The prerequisite of this subjects is the fundamental of electricity, direct current, devices and circuits, series and parallel circuits, to the study of active and passive components, Ohm's law, Kirchhoff's law, and KVL, KCL, Ampere's law, etc. KVL stands for Kirchhoff's voltage law and KCL stands for the Kirchhoff's current law. The course outcome, program outcome mapping is having several weightage depending on the high, medium and low, which are numerically weighted by 3, 2 and 1. We have an explanation of such course outcome versus program outcome, because program outcome is assigned by National Board of Accreditation. There are 12 program outcomes which are mapped to the course outcome. Now the first course outcome, as we have gone through, it is the study of PN junction diode, ideal diode, uh, diode models, its circuit analysis, its applications, as well as special diodes. The weightage has been given maximally to the program outcome 1 and program outcome 12. The program outcome 1 states that it applies the knowledge of mathematics, science and engineering fundamental and an engineering specialization to the solution of complex engineering problems. Similarly, program outcome 12 deals with the part, the lifelong learning, in which it is stating that recognize the need for and have the preparation and ability to engage in independent and lifelong learning in the broadest context of technological change. So as the basic foundation knowledge of this course outcome 1 which it dealt with, that is why it is mostly matching with program outcome 1 and program outcome 12, and there are medium weightage given to program outcome 2, 3, 5 and 11. Now the second program outcome is the problem analysis, and the third program outcome is the design and development of solutions, and the fifth one is the modern tool uses, and correspondingly 11th one is the project management and finance. So therefore these program outcome statements are getting the middle weightage, that means numerically 2 it is given. And the fourth program outcome is the conduct investigations and complex problems. Since we have minimum concept of start of the complex problem in this subject, because there is another advanced course, analog electronics, the students will go through in the fourth semester. They will be understanding in more detail, so that is why complex problems will be suitable in the analog circuit subject, not in the basic electronics. The main course objective of this basic electronics is to impart the fundamental knowledge to understand the basics of semiconductor and components like diode, transistor, FET, MOSFET and operational amplifier. It will be it will build mathematical and numerical background for design of electronic circuits and components value. Students equipped with the knowledge and training provided in the course will be able to participate in design and development and operation in the different area of electronic system. So therefore the basic electronics subject is actually, in a nutshell, is the basic knowledge for the several components, so that students can know the characteristics of those foundation components, and knowing the characteristics of the component, students can apply this component for their own project or own circuit development. And during the circuit analysis, student can measure the parametric value of the component, so that they will understand the status of the component, whether it is giving correct value or it is giving the wrong value. So for this subject, a data sheet for individual component is also mandatory for students to see, because until and unless students go through the data sheet, they will not understand the detail of a particular component, because the data sheet gives not only the physical structure, dimensions, as well as various electronic parametric value for each and every component, and there are much more details given in data sheets because it is made by the manufacturer. The topics to be covered are concept of transition and diffusion capacitance, PN junction breakdown conditions, avalanche and Zener breakdown, and Zener diode characteristics. The concept of capacitor tells us if there are two parallel plates separated by dielectric material, then the voltage applied to the parallel plate will be accumulating the charges on the parallel plates. The diodes are made up of P and N type of semiconductor. In between P and N type semiconductor, there is a depletion region exists. Now, if you compare this PN junction diode with capacitor, they have the similarity because they have the conducting plates P type and N type semiconductor, and in between the space charge region or depletion region looks like a dielectric material. Now there are two type of capacitance could be observed from PN junction diode due to two type of biasing. That means sometimes anode is positive with respect to cathode, known as the forward bias, in which the capacitance observed called diffusion capacitance, and another type of capacitance is called transition capacitance, which is observed in diode when the positive voltage is applied to the cathode and the negative voltage is applied to the anode, which is known as the reverse bias condition. Under the biasing, we already have seen that under the forward bias, the depletion region reduces because more and more acceptor ions and donor ions are covered with the holes and electrons. On the opposite side, under the reverse bias, we are seeing that the depletion region is gradually widening because more and more the immobile charges are uncovered at the depletion region, because the charge carriers are living away from the depletion region towards the battery terminals. So regarding the two type of capacitance, that means transition and diffusion capacitance, has been explained here again with more explanations. That means the reverse bias and forward bias conditions are shown. Under the reverse bias, positive voltage terminal of the battery is connected to the N side, and the negative voltage terminal is applied to the P side. Now under this condition, the holes are attracted to the negative terminal. That means holes are leaving the acceptor ions uncovered at the depletion region, so width of the acceptor ion is increasing. Similarly, the width of the depletion region is also increasing as more and more electrons are leaving the depletion region and they are attracted towards the positive terminal. So under this situation, as the width of the depletion region is increasing, that means the parallel plates of the capacitor P type and N type semiconductors are gradually moving away from each other. So therefore the capacitance produced is known as the transition capacitance. On the other side, under the forward bias condition, as the P side is applied with the positive voltage and N side is applied with the negative voltage, therefore more and more holes will be repelled from the positive terminal and they will be incident over the depletion region. So therefore the width of the depletion region reduces because the acceptor and donor ions are covered more and more with the holes and electrons respectively. So therefore reduction of the width of the depletion region may reduce the amount of capacitance. Now under this condition, since the depletion region width is reducing, therefore charge carriers, holes and electrons can easily penetrate this depletion region and they may move to the other side. So before being recombined, these charge carriers are treated as minority charge carrier because electrons are penetrating from N side to P side, and before being recombined they are moving into the P side as a minority charge carrier. Similarly, holes are penetrating the depletion region and reaches the N type semiconductor, acts as a minority charge carrier before it is being recombined. So these minority charge carriers are forming a capacitance on the parallel plates of the capacitor known as the diffusion capacitance. The PN junction breakdown conditions and avalanche breakdown is an important phenomena for PN junction diode under the reverse bias situation. As shown, the characteristics of the reverse bias, the N side is applied with positive voltage and P side is applied with the negative voltage. Here, initially, small amount of current is flowing of the order of microampere through the PN junction diode. Gradually, if we increase the reverse bias voltage, the kinetic energy of electron gradually increases. Obviously, they are the free electrons. Free electrons' kinetic energy is increasing. So when they are colliding with the electrons residing in the valence band, they are making it free. And again, the free electrons are again increased with high velocity. That means they are moving with high velocity, and since their kinetic energy is increasing, they are again colliding with the electrons residing in the valence band. So in a multiplicative manner, the production of electron is gradually increasing. That means rupturing of the covalent bond and the production of the free electrons. So free electrons produced means holes is also produced. So therefore, the charge carrier, overall charge carrier is increased in the PN junction diode, and the result is increased reverse bias current. Therefore, we are telling that the breakdown has been reached. So increased current means gradually on the third quadrant we are seeing that avalanche breakdown occurred. Zener breakdown is a typical situation of the breakdown phenomena. The same PN junction diode may be used for Zener application if it is doped with higher concentration. So normal PN junction diode is having the concentration level of the doping element lower than the Zener diode. That is why we are getting the breakdown voltage not much sharp in case of Zener diode. But for Zener diode, we are seeing that there is a sharp breakdown occur when a sufficient amount of negative voltage is applied to the reverse bias condition. So therefore, at certain reverse bias condition, which is known as the Zener breakdown point, excessive amount of electrons are flowing through the junction. So that is why we are getting sharp breakdown current. For every Zener diode in the market, the power rating is defined. That means the current flowing through the Zener diode under the reverse breakdown has a limit. It cannot exceed that limit, because if it is exceeding that limiting current, the Zener diode will be destroyed. So Zener diode is a physical device. It should have a physical limit also, practical limit. So therefore, the amount of current is also restricted and it should not exceed. Vz stands for the Zener breakdown voltage. So Vz and the maximum Zener current product is known as the maximum power that is allowed through the Zener diode. For the Zener diode, there are two cases that should be studied. One is the variable supply, that means the voltage supply may be varied. Another is the load resistance may be varied. So in the first case, when the Zener supply voltage is varied, at that time the initial case, that means the source current will be the summation of the Zener current and the load current. Now since supply voltage may be increased, that will increase the source supply current, the Zener diode will reach the breakdown voltage, and that is why the excess current will be flowing through the Zener diode instead of the load, because load is having the fixed amount of resistance. So load current is also fixed. So whatever is the excessive current due to the rise of the voltage from the variable voltage source, it will be flowing or bypassed through the Zener diode. So extra current will be flown through the Zener diode. So that is why the equations which are showing that the source current is equal to the Zener current plus load current, if source current is maximized, it will reach the Zener maximum current, and if it still further increase, that is, if the variable voltage source is increased further, then it will destroy the Zener diode. The output voltage is given by the difference between the input voltage and the source resistor dissipation, as shown in the equation, and the load current is equal to VL by RL, where VL means load voltage, which is almost equal to the Zener voltage, because when the Zener diode reaches the breakdown, the voltage across the Zener is becoming constant. And we should remember that Pz max equal to Vz into Iz max, that is maximum Zener current into the Zener voltage produces the maximum power dissipation in the Zener diode. Similarly, the second case under which the load resistance is varying, at that time whatever is the fixed source voltage produces the source current will be flowing through Zener as well as load resistor. So if the load resistor draws more current, little amount of current will be flowing through the Zener. But if the load does not take sufficient current, then the extra current will be flowing through Zener diode. So when Iz is maximum, at that time the load current will be minimum, and when the Zener current is minimum under these variable load cases, the load current has to be maximum. The load current and the load resistor are inversely related. That means if the load current is increased, that means load resistance has been decreased. But if the load current is decreased, the load resistance has to increase. So therefore, this is all about the Zener diode applications. In the next class, we will go through the rectifier. Thank you.